Imagine for once waking up and still being in harmony with the disordered world around you. The buzz, the various points of view, the expectations, they are all around you, but now, they don't influence you like they used to. You walk through life feeling so steady and grounded that nothing seems like it could shake you. People may walk into and out of your life. Stressful situations might arise, and emotions can sometimes surge, but none of these external events control you anymore. Instead, you feel like you're standing in the eye of the storm, aware of the whirlwind, yet calm and unmoved. This spiritual peace and acumen of mind are the real beef for Stoicism. In actual fact, it is not only a bygone viewpoint, but also a feasible way to make it with modern life, figuratively in the context of human relationships and emotions. How many times have we gave up our balance to people's or circumstances' shortcoming? We tend to react to things that we can't manage, and later on, we realize that they have more adverse effects on our mental health. The Stoic theory suggests that it is not always as presented. Another way exists, which is wondering if it is possible to abandon from people and situations in a constructive way, withholding ourselves from unnecessary emotional distress. Still, the thing is, Stoicism does not mean you are dead inside. Instead, it reminds us to see the world with insight, peace, and an impenetrable deep inner core. It reflects and points out the way to give, to share oneself, and at the same time to be in the harmony and clear-headedness gained through the rational use of the mind during the various situations. Embracing Stoicism is a journey to walk together. This text is to give you the answer to the very underlying question: how to achieve detachment from people and grow above emotional distress? Apart from the following, other things the Stoic philosophy teaches are that we don't actually have control over what comes to us in life, but we do have control over how. Let's explore what it means to embrace Stoicism and how you can apply its timeless wisdom to detach from people and rise above emotional turmoil. We would also like to meet you with your ideas in the comments section, which will guide your experience and search when you watch this video to the end. The concept of detachment, misunderstanding versus Stoic. Truth. At first glance, detaching from people and emotions can sound cold, indifferent, or even unfeeling. But Stoic detachment is not about turning your back on emotions or relationships. It's about gaining a higher perspective and understanding the impermanent nature of life. Everything around us, people, situations, emotions, are constantly changing, evolving, and ultimately fading. If we become too attached to these temporary things, we set ourselves up for endless frustration, disappointment, and suffering. In Stoicism, detachment is about finding peace by letting go of the things we cannot control. It's not about avoiding emotions or cutting people off, but learning to experience life fully, while also understanding that we don't own the people we love or the situations we encounter. The more we cling to things, the more we suffer when they inevitably change. For example, imagine that a close friend suddenly drifts away from your life. Stoicism would teach you not to react with bitterness or heartache, but to accept this change with grace. Relationships are fluid, and people have their own paths to follow. Stoicism teaches you to appreciate relationships for what they are, while not allowing them to dictate your emotional state when they shift. The role of relationships in Stoic practice. Navigating relationships can be one of the most emotionally charged aspects of life. Whether it's family, friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, we are deeply influenced by those around us. But here's the thing: no matter how much we care for someone, we cannot control them. We can't control their thoughts, actions, or feelings. Yet, so often, we invest enormous emotional energy trying to do just that. We get upset when others don't meet our expectations, when they hurt us, or when relationships change in ways we didn't foresee. This is where Stoicism's lessons on detachment become incredibly powerful. 1. Embrace the impermanence of relationships. Stoicism teaches that everything in life is transient, including relationships. People come and go, feelings ebb and flow, and connections evolve over time. Rather than clinging to the way things were or the way we want them to be, Stoicism encourages us to accept the natural impermanence of relationships. Think of it like the seasons. We don't lament the end of summer or winter because we know it's part of nature's cycle. Similarly, we can learn to embrace the changing nature of our relationships without feeling emotionally shattered when things change. This doesn't mean we don't care deeply for the people in our lives. It just means we accept that they, like everything else, are part of the ever-changing flow of life. 2. Focus on your own actions, not others' reactions. One of the central teachings of Stoicism is that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses, and let go of trying to control others. In relationships, this means understanding that we cannot dictate how others behave or feel. We can only choose how we respond. If someone treats you unfairly, for example, Stoicism teaches you to focus on maintaining your own integrity and composure. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, ask yourself, what is the best response I can offer in this situation? How can I act in line with my values, regardless of how this person is treating me? By focusing on your own actions, you empower yourself to stay grounded and unshaken, no matter what others do. 3. Love with an open hand. Stoicism encourages us to love and care for others deeply, but without attachment. Picture holding something precious in your hand, a delicate flower or a small bird. If you grasp it too tightly, you'll crush it. But if you hold it gently, you allow it to be free, and it thrives. The same principle applies to relationships. We often try to hold on to people too tightly, trying to control or possess them. But Stoicism teaches us to love without clinging. When we love with an open hand, we appreciate the people in our lives while respecting their freedom to change, grow, or even leave. This kind of love is not about control, but about mutual respect and understanding. Mastering your emotions. Through Stoicism. Emotions are a natural and inevitable part of life. We all experience joy, sadness, anger, fear, and love. But according to Stoicism, emotions don't have to control us. We have the ability to understand and rise above our emotions by using reason and reflection. In Stoic philosophy, emotions are seen as the result of our judgments and beliefs about the world. If we believe that something is harmful or unjust, we feel anger or fear. If we believe something is beneficial or necessary for our happiness, we feel joy or contentment. But what if these beliefs are flawed? What if our judgments are based on misconceptions or unrealistic expectations? This is where Stoicism offers powerful tools for overcoming emotions. Observe your emotions without judgment. When you experience a strong emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, anxiety, or fear, take a moment to step back and observe it. Instead of immediately reacting or becoming overwhelmed, simply notice the emotion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? By observing your emotions without judgment, you create a sense of detachment from them. You begin to see emotions not as something that defines you, but as temporary experiences that will pass. This simple act of observation allows you to maintain control over your responses, rather than being swept away by the intensity of the moment. 2. Challenge. Your beliefs and assumptions. Emotions are often the result of our beliefs and assumptions about the world. If you're angry at someone, it's usually because you believe they've wronged you in some way. But Stoicism teaches us to challenge these automatic thoughts. Let's say a colleague criticizes your work in front of others. Your immediate reaction might be anger because you believe they've disrespected you. But before reacting, ask yourself, is this really disrespect, or am I interpreting it that way? Could there be another reason for their criticism? By questioning your initial beliefs, you can diffuse the emotional intensity and respond in a more thoughtful, measured way. You might realize that the criticism, though uncomfortable, is valid and offers an opportunity for growth.
Dear listeners, we want to use your opinions as guidance for our videos, so you can send us your positive or negative opinions in the comments section. If your opinion about our content is positive, you can write 0 if not 1 in the comments section. I also see that we have new subscribers who have just joined us. We would like to welcome you with a sweet welcome. Can those who have just subscribed write "I subscribed" in the comments section?
3. Practice reflection and self-awareness. Daily reflection is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, kept a personal journal where he reflected on his thoughts, actions, and emotions. He would review his day, considering where he acted wisely and where he could have done better. By engaging in regular self-reflection, you become more aware of your emotional triggers and habitual responses. Over time, this awareness allows you to break free from reactive emotional patterns and develop greater emotional resilience. The danger of seeking approval. One of the most pervasive emotional traps in modern life is the constant need for approval. It's a subtle force that can govern much of our behavior without us even realizing it. Whether it's validation from a boss at work, affirmation from a romantic partner, acceptance from our social circle, or even likes and comments from strangers on social media, many of us spend an enormous amount of energy seeking validation. We may not be aware of it, but our sense of self-worth is often intricately tied to how others perceive us. This craving for external validation can feel like a never-ending chase. The more we seek approval from others, the more reliant we become on their opinions to feel secure, happy, or fulfilled. It's as if we're handing the keys to our happiness to everyone around us, allowing their opinions to dictate how we feel about ourselves. Stoicism, however, exposes this mindset for what it is: an attachment to something we cannot control, other people's opinions. The illusion of control over others' opinions. Here's the fundamental Stoic insight about approval. We cannot control what others think of us. No matter how hard we try, how much we perfect our image, or how diligently we aim to please, people's opinions are shaped by their own perceptions, biases, experiences, and emotions. These are entirely outside our sphere of influence. Trying to control or predict them is like trying to hold water in your hands. It's impossible, and the more tightly you grasp, the faster it slips away. Think about it for a moment. How often do we agonize over what someone might be thinking about us? We replay conversations in our heads. We stress over whether our latest social media post got enough likes, or we obsess over a colleague's offhand comment. But all of this is wasted energy. The Stoics would remind us that our well-being shouldn't hinge on the unpredictable and uncontrollable thoughts of others. The emotional toll of seeking approval. The emotional toll of living for external validation can be immense. When we rely on others to define our value, we open ourselves up to a roller coaster of emotions, depending on whether we receive praise or criticism. If someone approves of us, we feel a temporary boost, like a fleeting high. But when we're criticized or ignored, our self-worth can plummet. It's a fragile way to live, constantly vulnerable to the whims and judgments of others. Moreover, this need for approval often pushes us to behave in ways that aren't authentic to ourselves. We may adopt personas that are designed to please others, rather than reflect who we truly are. In the process, we distance ourselves from our core values, bending and twisting to fit the mold of what we think others want from us. This inauthenticity leads to internal conflict, because deep down, we know that we are not being true to ourselves. The more we live for others' validation, the further we drift from our own sense of purpose and self-worth. The Stoic alternative: earning inward for approval. Stoicism offers a powerful alternative to this endless quest for validation: turning inward. Instead of seeking approval from the outside world, Stoicism teaches us to evaluate ourselves based on our own principles and actions. This shift in focus is liberating because it places control back where it belongs, within ourselves. The Stoic approach asks, are you living in accordance with your own values? Are you acting in a way that reflects your best self? This internal compass becomes the only source of approval that truly matters. The opinions of others, whether positive or negative, no longer hold sway over your emotional state. You become your own judge, measuring your success not by external validation, but by the degree to which you live up to your own standards. Let's consider a simple but profound question that the Stoics might ask. Am I acting in line with my values? This question helps to reframe the entire narrative. Instead of asking, Do others think I'm doing well? Or, how can I make others happy? You shift the focus to, am I living in a way that I can be proud of, regardless of what others think? For example, if you've acted with integrity, honesty, and kindness, then it shouldn't matter whether someone else recognizes or praises you for it. Your value is intrinsic, not dependent on external recognition. It's this inner alignment with your values that grants you a deep, enduring sense of self-worth, one that is far more resilient than any fleeting approval from others. Approval versus authenticity. The struggle for self-acceptance. This Stoic practice of turning inward for approval also connects deeply with the idea of authenticity. When we constantly seek approval from others, we often dilute our true selves in the process. We may suppress our genuine thoughts, desires, and actions in favor of pleasing those around us. But this comes at a cost. When we compromise our authenticity to gain approval, we lose touch with who we really are. Stoicism challenges us to reject this people-pleasing mindset and instead strive for authenticity. Being authentic means acting in accordance with your values, even if it means risking disapproval or misunderstanding. It requires courage to be yourself in a world that often pressures us to conform. But authenticity leads to a much deeper form of fulfillment because it's rooted in truth rather than external appearances. The Stoic view of self-approval is not about being indifferent to others or disregarding their feelings. Rather, it's about prioritizing your own moral compass over external opinions. When you know you're living in alignment with your values, the need for constant approval naturally begins to fade. You develop a quiet confidence that isn't shaken by others' judgments or praise. This is the ultimate goal, to live a life of purpose, guided by your principles, free from the need for external validation. The freedom of letting go of approval. By letting go of the need for approval, you unlock a profound sense of freedom. No longer tethered to others' opinions, you are free to pursue your goals, express your true self, and make decisions based on what feels right for you. This freedom allows you to take risks, make mistakes, and grow without fearing judgment. Think about how much more peaceful life would be if you weren't constantly seeking validation. How many opportunities might you have missed because you feared what others might think? How often have you censored yourself or played it safe because you wanted approval? By freeing yourself from this need, you open up space for more creativity, authenticity, and personal growth. Additionally, when you stop chasing approval, you'll notice that your relationships become more genuine. When you're no longer trying to please others or gain their acceptance, you can engage with people on a deeper level, without the filters of insecurity or neediness. Paradoxically, when you stop needing approval, you often find that people respect you more because they sense your self-assurance and authenticity. The Stoic paradox. Approval comes when you no longer seek it. One of the paradoxes of life is that true respect and admiration often come when you no longer seek them. When you live with integrity and authenticity, without bending to the opinions of others, people are drawn to that quiet confidence. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect your conviction and consistency. In Stoicism, this is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to be at peace with yourself, regardless of how others perceive you. But the irony is that, by turning inward and focusing on your own values, you may naturally inspire others. Approval becomes a byproduct of living a life true to yourself, rather than something you actively pursue. In essence, the Stoic lesson about approval is clear. It's a dangerous trap that leads to emotional instability and disconnection from our true selves. By turning inward and focusing on our own principles, we can break free from this trap and cultivate a sense of self-worth that is unshakable. Living in alignment with your values is not only the path to inner peace, but also the key to becoming truly free. Free from the opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. Let go of the need for approval, and you'll find that the only approval you ever truly needed was your own. Finding peace. Amidst the chaos of life. The world is full of chaos, unpredictability, and stress. Whether it's global events, personal challenges, or the daily demands of life, there will always be something trying to disrupt your peace. Stoicism doesn't promise to make the chaos disappear, but it does offer a way to find peace amidst the storm. The Stoic secret to inner peace is simple. Focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, actions, and emotions, and let go of everything else. By releasing your attachment to outcomes, people, and external events, you create a space of inner calm that cannot be disturbed by the changing world around you. As you continue exploring Stoicism, remember that the journey toward emotional mastery and detachment is a lifelong process. It's not about becoming emotionless or cutting yourself off from others. Rather, it's about developing a deep sense of wisdom, clarity, and resilience that allows you to engage with life fully, without being thrown off balance by its inevitable ups and downs. If you found this Stoic approach insightful and want to delve deeper into this philosophy, subscribe our Stoic Herology channel. Together, we'll explore how these timeless principles can bring clarity and strength to your everyday life. And if you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up. Your support means the world to us. Thank you for watching, and remember, the power to rise above your emotions and detach from what doesn't serve you is already within you.